Loyalty360. Everyone's happy, safe, and well. Want to welcome back to another edition of Loyalty Live. In this series, we talk to leading agencies, technology providers, and consultants in the arena of customer channel and brand loyalty about what they're seeing. We talk about the technology and trends and best practices that impact a brand's ability to derive unique experiences, enhance engagement, and most importantly, customer loyalty. It allows for a deeper assessment and insight into the state of customer loyalty and the challenges that we're seeing within the industry, because these practitioners we speak with have a deep set of insight within the industry, and it helps us give a very unique perspective. And today we have the pleasure of speaking with Dave Andreadakis, who's the Chief Innovation Officer at Kobie. How are you today, Dave?
I'm doing great, Mark. It's good to see you again.
Good. Nice talking to you as well, as always. First off, we like to start these on a more personal level. We'd like to know those who we're speaking with. I would love to know a little bit more about you, your history, your background, and your role at Kobie.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in marketing for over 20 years, but particularly in loyalty for about 15. And most of the folks, if you're in this industry, have seen me on stage somewhere or seen a blog. Just absolutely love loyalty, live it, breathe it. Kobie is one of the few companies that actually has a dedicated C-level executive to innovation. And we set this role aside so that we could sit there and not only incubate new capabilities, but to continue to challenge our thinking. It's kind of a fun and a sad thing to know that your job every day is to come in and get in a fight and think about the new ways in which we could do things and kind of stand some things down. And we've been open as an ELT, as an executive leadership team, to having that kind of dynamic. And it's done a lot of wonders for us as a company.
Excellent. Fun fact, is there a passion you have, health and fitness? Do you like to jump out of airplanes? Do you like to scuba dive? What's a passion, something you like to do outside of work?
Yeah, so last time I was on, I told you about my guitar playing, which you can see in the background. It's a big passion of mine. But lately, I've been really getting into trying to perfect the art of making a pizza. I got a little outdoor pizza oven outside, and if all goes well, I'm going to build a bigger one. It's like a brick oven that you might see over in Italy. So I'm really passionate about that and really enjoying that learning.
Okay, great. When you look at Kobie, obviously a legacy provider in the industry, done a lot of unique things recently, kind of transformed kind of the approach. You talked about, having the executive team focused on transformation and innovation. For those who may not be familiar with Kobie, can you tell us about what you guys do, how you do it, industries you work within?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been in business over 32 years, I think now, and counting. And we are strategy-led, tech-enabled. So we have both sides of that house. So we've got a lot of advice that we give, and then we help our clients really implement each of the solutions that they're going through, whether it is starting a new program, transforming a program, sometimes shutting them down and rethinking what they want to do with loyalty in general. But our technology is at the core of it all. We have, as a full service loyalty agency, we have a number of service offerings, and we use our own tools and we sell those tools to our clients as well. And so our loyalty points engine or experience engine that we have is at the center of our product offering, which is called Calc. And we cover financial institutions, we cover retail, travel and hospitality. We have new emerging markets, telecom, some entertainment, but those are our main categories that we tend to focus on.
Okay, excellent. And when you look at the state of customer loyalty, I know you just conducted a recent research around the 2022 Customer Loyalty Research Project, to better understand consumer preferences around customer loyalty programs, post-COVID, what they want, what they'd like to see. Can you give us a brief overview of the research, why you decided to conduct it and what you saw?
Yeah, we wanted to do a few things. One is the purpose of our research was, one, to advance some of the things that we've already had a lot of success in and really sharpen our saw on some things that we already knew. Second thing is there's a lot of things that we kind of supposed, that we know just by being in loyalty for a while, but we wanted to find some proof points. And that allows us to be able to bring it to customers and replicate that with each of our clients so that we can show them where specifically they might want to focus in on different problems they're facing, such as the type of rewards different types of customers really want, or how they might want to be served up those rewards. What really drives customers to be loyal, all of that fun stuff that we talk about on a regular basis. But the last thing that we wanted to do is to really just hear more of the voice of the customer after COVID. As that has kind of trailed into this new world, we know that behaviors have changed. We know that old models aren't working, and we just kind of wanted a fresh start on understanding where everybody's starting from. And we did learn some really interesting things.
Okay, excellent. Were there some things that you thought you may see going into the report that you didn't see, or things that you did see, or that things that you thought you may see that you didn't see?
Yeah, both actually. And there were quite a few surprises. And in fact, when we started this, we were looking for more validation than anything. I mean, that was kind of, we had some hypotheses. We were really excited to prove those out. We've spent way more time focusing on the surprises, though. And they're really in four categories, I would say. The first is that there's kind of a change in what customers want, like the types of rewards that they're looking for. And, we're a company that spends a lot of time talking about emotional connection. And we found that customers who have low emotional connection or are very habit driven, those two categories in particular, they are very transactional in the things that they want. They want to give me points for taking a quiz, give me points for doing this, give me points for basically everything. And it's, like I said, it's extremely transactional. Those who are very emotional, have an emotional connection, they push all that stuff aside, and they want access and status and higher levels of a relationship, just like you might if you were like dating somebody trying to progress that thing along. So what customers want was the first area that there were some surprises. The second area is we have a new understanding of what value means to customers. So we used to think it was all about this, exchange of value exchange, if you will, of do this, get that, and make sure that you get that right, whatever that thing may be. So there is this notion of you have to get the item right so that it appeals to customers, but it's only one of three things that really matter. There's a trifecta effect that happens. Getting the item right, getting the experience around giving them that item right, and recognizing that entire customer value. There's a multiple effect that happens when you get all three of those things right at the same time. There are a couple more. I'll hit on these and let you kind of respond to them, because there's a lot. A really big one for us was this new understanding of pain and forgiveness. We saw a lot of customers, just like you would feel in an emotionally connected relationship, when something bad happened to them, they were really hurt. If you're emotionally connected and the brand does something bad to you, it really, really hurts. And it hurts them. It hurts everybody across the board, no matter what level of emotional connection that they have, whether it's a status-driven one or habit-driven one or so on and so forth. But what we found big differences in was their willingness to forgive you afterwards. That people who are status-driven and sometimes habit-driven, they were like, "No, I'm sorry. You had your chance. I'm done." And these are higher spending customers. So we found that was kind of a really interesting takeaway as well. And then the last one had to do with advocacy, and that we found that people are different in what they say about you versus what they do, what their net promoter score might be, as well as the types of things that they will promote, even if they don't like you. So we found a lot of interesting stuff there. So That was a lot. What do you think?
Interesting. I think it's definitely a very unique time. And you and I were talking before this. I think kind of service level expectations have changed dramatically. And, brands are looking for ways to add different types of reward opportunities, engagement opportunities, personalized, that can keep a customer more actively engaged throughout the life cycle. So it's great to hear that, consumers are looking for that kind of unique personalized offering as well, and looking for different opportunities along the continuum, which seems to align from the brand to the consumer to the brand.
That's right. That's right. We're seeing a lot of that.
So customer expectations around customer loyalty programs, they're changing.
Yeah.
What have you seen in the customer loyalty space recently that you may compare to the study to meet those changes? And what's lining up? What are you seeing in regard to maybe what you're offering, what your clients are asking for, that kind of line up against the study?
Yeah, it's interesting. We talked a little bit about those micro nudges a little bit, that there's lots of little nudges that need to happen to really bring customers to a certain place versus trying to create this destination that we're always forcing them through. Brands are tired. They're tired of working really hard to not get the results that they're looking for. So they're looking for smaller wins. They're looking for more experience-based wins. They're looking for, how can I affect this customer right here at this particular place? There's a study out of the University of Oregon that's kind of interesting right now about customer inertia. And the analogy that I used when talking to this professor was like a basketball. You spin a ball one time, it's going to fall off eventually off your finger if you're trying to balance it. But if you've ever done that successfully, you spin it and you kind of hit it, and then it spins for quite a while. And you can keep that up there and then every now and then touch it. That's what you want and what our brands are looking for is to get their customers into this state where they don't have to work so hard to keep them there, and to just precision hit the things that are really going to matter to them. And this study backed that up completely. Know me, know who I am, know the types of things that I'm trying to get to. And if you can get me there, I'll be your customer forever. But you can't just put me in a program, expect that I'll find my way there. You have to help me along the path, give me those nudges, and we'll eventually get there together.
Okay, great. When you look at that, though, brands have always had a challenge listening to and understanding their customers, right? Yeah. Now, being in the channel that they want to be in, having the right product, the service, the reward, whatever it may be, there's added complexities to doing that. But there's a clarion call for simplicity. So how do brands balance the challenge of more data, more complexity from personalization, content, communication, cadence, to creating simplicity, to getting to know that customer? How do you balance that? Maybe what strategy you see that can proactively address that?
Yeah, it's a great question, because I don't think a lot of brands get this right. I was actually, thinking about this quite a bit to say, here's the one that just nails this. And I don't think there are many that nail this. The thing I'd point to is that you can hyper personalize and get less and less and less of an impact by getting even more personalized, right? And when you're thinking about massive groups of people, hundreds of thousands or millions of members that you're trying to market a message to, it's going to sound like you just marketed to millions of people. And if you want to get an intimate connection with somebody, you have to look them in the eyes. You have to be able to make them feel what you're saying. And over the years, advertising has taken quite a bit of that on their shoulders to try and say, let me come up with an emotional message to get you to connect with me, or so on and so forth. But it's always been the agents. It's always been the front line that can really pull that off. And so the thing that brands need to do is to take that data and not sit back here in a dark room somewhere and try to blast messages out. But I would rather see them spend as much time as possible trying to educate the front lines on the differences of customers, how to recognize different types of customers when they're standing in front of you, or when you're interacting, or when you're marketing, and then how to really create these small moments where you're empowering employees on the front line to have wins along the way. It's just as important for the employees to feel the wins as it is for the customers to feel the wins. If the employees don't feel the wins, they're not going to get that inertia of, I know how to affect this particular sale, this relationship. And most importantly, you want every employee to feel like, I'm in charge, I'm the steward of this relationship, and I have to take care of them. Give them the tools to do it so they can be successful.
Okay. And the last question we have, Kobie has place to focus throughout the years on emotional loyalty, stab it, habit, and reciprocity, kind of being the three pillars, I think, of your your emotional loyalty approach. What are some of the trends you see in regard to emotional loyalty within customer loyalty, customer experience? What's working in that regard, and driving emotionally loyal customers, getting more of them engaged? What are you seeing?
Yeah, there's an increase, a massive thirst for that understanding right now. We're getting that all over the place, people wanting to understand how to connect with customers more emotionally. Usually the impetus for that is they're tired of spending money on relationships. They'd rather not have to do that. Along the journey, when they start to understand their customers more, they get a little bit more vested in that outcome. And there's some brands that are just very true to their customers. They put that customer experience first. And so they all kind of end up in this bucket of really wanting to do something about it. But that's where the industry starts to stratify. Depending on how well you've put in place your basic blocking of and tackling of being able to do data-driven marketing, having strong CRM chops so that you can actually get messages in front of your customers the way that they want in the time frame that they want it, ends up being the thing that allows for the success or the failure of all of that great new understanding. One particular client of ours, it was an airline, and we shared with them the results of our emotional loyalty scoring study. And we showed them the different ways that their customers reacted and how they were motivated. And as we started teaching them, their marketing team, this new understanding of their customer, the first thing they did was they brought every customer-facing department into a room to have us teach them that same thing. And this was everything from ticketing to concierge service, the lounges, the people who are serving you, the pilots. Every single customer-facing group were represented there so that they could understand how to change their world, because they knew that if they couldn't get this to action, it was just a great marketing study that made us feel good about knowing our customers a little bit better.
Okay, great. Well, David, as always, it's great speaking with you, getting understanding what you're doing and what you're seeing, especially in regard to innovation and how you're looking at the industry at Kobie. So thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Always a pleasure, Mark.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you join us again for another edition of Loyalty Live. Have a wonderful day.